Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Now for this week's video, I asked on the community tab on my channel which video you all would rather see. I gave the option of a record setup and tour of my setup, or a video about Record Store Day since it's coming up, with a couple of tips and also just my wish list that I am hoping to get this year. You all voted and you voted for the Record Store Day video, so this is what that is going to be. But before I get into the video, I wanted to ask you all to please subscribe to my channel if you are not already. I have a goal of reaching 2,000 subscribers by June 1st. Kind of like the first month of summer. I know there's like an actual day of the first day of summer. I don't look at that. It's like June 1st is the beginning of summer for me. So I have a goal of 2,000 subscribers by June 1st, and we're a little over 1,400. So I fully believe that we can still get there in the next couple of months. So if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please do so and go ahead and click that bell icon down below as well. It just gives you a notification every time I upload a new video so you don't miss it. And subscribing to my channel is a completely free way to support me and my videos and my content. And when you subscribe, it just tells YouTube and their ridiculous algorithm that, hey, people like this channel and people like these videos, so you can push it out to other people. And with no more introduction, let's get into my video about Record Store Day 2025. So I've got my iPad here with a couple of notes written down about Record Store Day because I want to kind of give anybody who this might be their first Record Store Day just a little bit of information going into the day. I know a lot of people have probably been before, and if you've been before, then you definitely have like a plan set out of what time you're going to get there, kind of what you're going to go for. But a lot of people, this might be their first one, so I have some information here to hopefully help you get into Record Store Day and have a good experience, because with popular releases like this year, Taylor Swift is going to be releasing a 7-inch a fortnight. It can get chaotic. It can be a little bit stressful because you don't know if you're going to get it or not. So I've got some tips here and just some overall information to hopefully help you have a smooth and fun day, because honestly, Record Store Day is supposed to be about fun and getting some fun new vinyl. So the first thing to note is that Record Store Day is on Saturday, April 12th this year. And when you're trying to plan out your day and what time to get to your store, that kind of information, my biggest piece of advice is to contact your local record store. Contact them the week of, the week before, and ask them any questions that you might have, such as what time does the store open? Maybe for Record Store Day, they're going to be opening a little bit earlier, so it's nice to have that information. Ask them if they have the specific records that you are looking for. They might tell you a quantity that they are getting, they might not, because some stores just don't know. They can submit an order for 100 of the Taylor Swift Fortnite, but they don't know that they're going to be actually getting those maybe until the day before, the day of. So you can ask them what they'll be getting. Again, they might tell you quantity, they might not. And also ask them if they just have any tips. Maybe ask them if they know what time people start lining up, when it starts to get the busiest, just so you can plan around that and you can get there at an early enough time that maybe doesn't have you camping out overnight. But just asking them for like a feel of how the day goes will help you plan your day better, of what time to get there and kind of how to set up and prepare for it. So tip 1, contact your local record store directly with any questions that you might have about their stock, about what time they open, that kind of stuff. Now, the next thing to know is look at the list of Record Store Day releases, and you'll notice that there's a couple different categories that the releases can fall into. There's 3 actually. The first one is Record Store Day exclusives, and I'm actually going to read the description of these directly from the Record Store Day website. So the 3 categories are Record Store Day exclusives. It's these titles are physically released only at record stores, and it's only limited to that day. They're not going to press more after Record Store Day. So once it's gone, it's gone. It's not going to be widely available later. It's an exclusive. It's only for Record Store Day. The second one is Record Store Day first. They describe it as these titles are found first at indie record stores, but may be released to other retailers or web stores at some point in the future. So Record Store Day first is kind of like the Olivia Rodrigo Guts pressing that they did, I think it was last Black Friday, where they released it for Record Store Day Black Friday, but then a couple months later it shows up on her web store and you can buy it from there. So that's a Record Store Day first. So if you see Record Store Day first on there and you're at your store and it's already sold out, don't get too upset, because there's likely a chance that it's going to be pressed later in the future and you'll be able to get it from their web store. The indie store may have it again, stuff like that. And the last one, which in my opinion and my experience doesn't affect a whole lot of them, or they don't have this category is small run / regional titles. Their description for this one is these titles are either regionally based and sold at specific stores or are press runs under 1,000, which means they may be harder to find at record stores around the country. The majority of the titles on this section of the list are small run titles. Any title that's regionally based and most likely to be found at specific stores will have that called out in the description, which can be found on the web-based version of the list. Those are the 3 categories that they tend to fall in. So it's important to know if you're going into it, if what you're wanting is an exclusive and it's not going to be available later, if it is an RSD first and it can be available later, because that can also help you as you're trying to plan out your day, what time to get to the record store. If something is an exclusive and it's probably going to sell out, maybe you want to get there a little bit earlier so you can get closer to the front of the line. If it's an RSD first and you're like, well, if it's going to come back later, I don't need to get there super early before the sun even comes up, and I'm okay with getting it later. And the third tip, going off of the list again, is know what you're going in for. Have a list ready so that when you're in there, you can grab exactly what you want, and then you can browse. It just helps to have a list going in so that you're not looking kind of all over the place for what you want. Most stores will have like specific sections for the new record store day releases, or they might mix them in alphabetically with the artist. So if you're going in knowing exactly what you want, you can go to that letter in the alphabet and say it's Taylor Swift, and you can find the S for Swift and it's right there. Or you can go to the new record store day release section, again, Taylor Swift, you know it's going to be in the S of the new record store day releases, and it's going to be right there. So yeah, go in with the plan of exactly what you want, and once you've got those, then you can do a little bit of browsing. But those are kind of my top 3 tips when it comes to record store day. I know everybody has their kind of own opinions and their own vibe and their own plan set out, and so anybody you ask could say something different. This is just based off of my experience with record store day. I typically get to my record store, let's say it opens at like 7 o'clock, I think. I will usually get there maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock, because some of the stuff is really limited, and even at that point, some of it sells out. And while it's a shame, my bank account's usually like, maybe it's for the best. But if there's something that I really want, we're probably gonna get there closer to the 4:30. If it's like, okay, there's some stuff that we want, but if we don't get it, it's fine, we're gonna get there closer to the 5 o'clock mark. And even that 30 minutes can have a wide variety of how many people are in line based off of what's in the sale that year. But if you have any other questions, leave a comment down below. I will answer based off of my experience and my knowledge. Other people might chime in with their answers, and yeah, we can have a chat down below about any other questions that you have about the day. I'd love to answer any questions. And now moving on to my wish list and the things that I am hoping to get. These are not only just mine, but I've also added in the stuff that Connor is wanting as well. Total, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different vinyl that we are hoping to get this year on record store day. Some of them are very limited, so I'm not sure if they're all going to happen. We might have to get there a little bit earlier, closer to that 4:30 mark this year. I'm not somebody that camps out. I'm gonna sleep in my own bed. I will get up early to get there in line. I might bring a chair to wait if that needs to happen, but I'm sleeping the night of, and I'll just get there earlier. So these are the ones that Connor and I both want, and I'll share like whose is whose kind of thing. Moving over a little bit so I can put the pictures here so you can see the picture and the information of them as well. The first one is the Charlie XCX Guess featuring Billie Eilish 7-inch. I love this song off of the remix album. Connor is a big Charlie XCX fan. If you've been watching my videos, I think I've mentioned that before. And so we both actually want this 7-inch. We'll only get one, we're not gonna get 2, but I have a feeling this one's going to be very difficult to get because a lot of people love Charlie XCX, and as it says here, there's a quantity of 10,000, which is not a lot, so some record stores may only get like 5, and unless you're camping out, you might not get that one. So if we can get this one, that would be incredible, but if we don't, that's okay. We already have the full remix album on vinyl, so if we can't get this one single, that's okay. This one is also an RSD exclusive, so again, once it's sold out for record store day, it won't be available again. The next one that Connor wants is also by Charlie XCX. It's the #1 Angel. It is also limited to 10,000 pressings and is an RSD exclusive. So same quantity, 10,000 for both the single and this one, and both exclusives. I think he wants this one a little bit more because he doesn't have this LP yet. So he's hoping that he can get it. If not, what are we gonna do? You know, the next one on our wish list is a Connor want. Again, this is Remy Wolf. You're a dog. I'm allergic to dogs. I'm not exactly sure what this this one is. Reading the description, it says that side A features her debut EP, Your Dog, while the B side showcases her sophomore project, I'm Allergic to Dogs, both making their vinyl debut. New to vinyl, he doesn't have these ones yet. He's hoping to get it. This one is going to be even harder to get on the day of because it's limited to 2,600 pressings. However, this is an RSD first, so he might miss out on the day of, but it being an RSD first tells us that it could potentially show up on her web store or somewhere else later on. Moving on to one that I am hopeful to get, I've mentioned it many times, it's just been my example one, is the Taylor Swift Fortnite 7-inch. This one does not have a quantity, which is not surprising. The Long Pond studio sessions of Folklore that released a couple years ago for Record Store Day also did not have a quantity until like a week or two before, and then we found out that it was like 110,000 globally, which is insane. That was the largest run of a Record Store Day pressing to that date. So hopefully this Fortnite 7-inch has somewhere around there. If it had more, that'd be great. Taylor Swift is usually very, very sought after for Record Store Day. Last time for the Long Pond studio sessions, the line for my store was literally almost around the entire block because everyone was there for that album. I've mentioned this story several times, but by the time I got into the store, there was one copy left. And I got it. And I was so happy to get it, but I was like, gosh, there's such a long line even behind me still of people who are wanting this album. Hopefully for this Fortnite, there's at least matching what they did for the Long Pond. Maybe they'll do more, but it is also an RSD exclusive. So once it's gone, it's gone. The next one that I want and is on my wish list is the Wicked soundtrack. This is a special pressing that they're doing for the Wicked soundtrack. It's got one green glitter disc and one pink glitter disc. I think they're so pretty and I want like both colors, and I just think it would be a fun pressing to have. I'm not getting my hopes up for this one because it is limited to 2,000 pressings. That is almost nothing. We're going to be lucky if our store gets one copy of it because that's such a small run of pressings. So we'll see. It's on my wish list. I'm going to be looking for it. I'm not getting my hopes up. It is also an RSD exclusive. So if my store only gets one and person camping out grabs it as they enter the building, I'm not going to get it, but it's on my wish list. And if there is one, I will be grabbing it. But if there's not, I'm not going to be too disappointed. I already have the picture disc version of the album. I just think this one is really pretty and would be fun to have because it's a Record Store Day exclusive. And the last vinyl on our wish list for Record Store Day 2025 is one that I am personally looking for. It is More by Wallows. It is the new EP by them. And this is an RSD first, so if it sells out on the day, I can hopefully find it later on their web store. However, there is no pressing quantity for this one yet, which is interesting because other than Taylor Swift, I feel like they don't usually do that. They kind of know ahead of time how many they're going to have. So I am very interested to see this one updated as the day gets closer. I will say sometimes too is these lists are changing. If something can't get pressed in time, they'll take it out. I think last Record Store Day, there was the Wicked picture disc of, I want to say it was Defying Gravity and Popular, which has since then been available online somewhere, but it was supposed to be for Record Store Day and I was so excited to get it because it was before the movie had come out, but it just didn't get pressed in time, so it didn't release anywhere. And that's why it came out online somewhere later. So if it can't get pressed in time, maybe that's also what the quantity is about, is they just don't know yet. Maybe it could be a tight run. So we'll have to see and hope that they update it. But that's the last one that I am hoping to get and that is on our wish list for this year. Well, that is my video all about Record Store Day 2025, some tips and information, and my wish list as well. As I said earlier, the tips and information are based off of my own experiences and my opinions about how to move forward things and kind of how to prepare for the day. I know everyone can have their own experiences and tips and tricks on how to have a successful Record Store Day. So if there's anything that I missed or any questions that you didn't get answered in this, leave them down below. I'll answer with my own opinions and my own experiences, and maybe other people can chime in too, because record collecting is a fun hobby, and if it's your first day, we want everyone to have a fun and successful day. But if you don't have questions, let me know down below what you are hoping to go after. Maybe it's not one of the ones that I mentioned in this video that's on my wish list or Connor's wish list. Maybe you're going after something completely different. I would love to know what it is, so let me know down below, because everyone has their own taste in vinyl, and I think it'd be cool to see what's at the top of everyone's wish list. And last couple of things, make sure to like this video if you have not already. already. Liking is the same as subscribing. It tells YouTube and their algorithm, hey, people like this video, we can suggest it to more people who might also like it like this person did. And check out my Patreon if you have not already. I'll put the link down in the description. I tend to post the early access to my new videos before they go up here on YouTube, as well as some behind the scenes shots of my life and like kind of what I do more day to day when I'm not posting here on YouTube. And I hope to add more benefits in the future, but anyone who is subscribed to the close friends tier on my Patreon will get their name added at the end of every video moving forward. That is it for this video. I hope you all have an amazing Record Store Day 2025 if you are planning on attending, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.